Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is 4 Paws in a Book. I make book and lifestyle related content, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Today we're going to do a little bit of a chatty video and talk about some new authors that I found in 2022 that I want to read more of next year. So I've seen a couple of people do videos very similar to this and talking about authors that they want to read more from in 2023. I'm putting a little bit of a spin on it where I'm talking about new authors that I've read this year. So authors that I've, read them for the first time in 2022. That's how that works. I have a wide variety of authors, a wide variety of genres here, so we're just going to talk about it. I have a list. I have my computer up. We're going to kind of go through Goodreads and see what they've got, because I haven't done a whole lot of research on this. It's fine. We're just going to do a chatty video. I'm filming a bunch of videos today, and I thought this would be a good way to get started to kind of kick it off for the day. So let's just start up top with my favorite book of the year, which was Ashes of the Sun. Django Wexler, I had never even heard of before 2022, before Ashes of the Sun, which it probably makes me a bad booktuber, but here we are. Django Wexler has an enormous backlist. Absolutely enormous. So I am currently reading Emperor of Ruin, which is the third book in the Burning Blade and Silver Eye trilogy, which actually comes out in February. And after that, I will have that trilogy done. I say that I'm currently reading it. Have I picked it up in 2 weeks? No, I haven't. But Django Wexler has so many series. He has young adult, he has a middle grade, he has adult books. I actually picked up, I'm sitting next to my haul cart so I can show you. I found A Ship of Smoke and Steel, which is one of his YA books, on Pango the other day, and so I immediately picked it up, and I'm very excited to read that one. And then he has a middle grade series, which I'm very curious about, so that might be fun. But yeah, Django Wexler is definitely a author that I would love to read more from. Next out on my list is Elle Cozzimano, who wrote the Finlay Donovan series. Looking back at her backlist, it's not something that I necessarily want to go back to. A lot of it's YA. Actually, all of it is YA. She looks like she has a YA fantasy series that was written, that started in 2014. So that's not something that I'm super interested in. And then also a YA thriller series, which doesn't sound extremely interesting to me. Again, I'm going to be reading very little YA in 2023. So that's not necessarily a backlist that I want to dive into. However, it is, she's an author that I'm going to be looking forward to with anticipated releases. Obviously, she has the third Finlay Donovan book that's coming out early this year, and I will definitely be picking that up. However, if she wrote outside of the Finlay Donovan, especially in the adult age range, it's definitely a book that I would put on an anticipated list. I didn't read that many thrillers this year, but one of the ones that really stood out to me was Stacey Willingham. I read A Flicker in the Dark, which is her debut novel, so there's obviously not a backlist to go back to. However, in early 2023, All the Dangerous Things was released. I think I got it in my December Book of the Month box, so that's exciting. I got it early. Did I read it? No. But it is definitely one that is on my shelf, on my radar, one that I want to pick up this year because I loved A Flicker in the Dark so much. And so it's depending on how All the Dangerous Things goes, she will definitely be an author that I will have my eye on for some anticipated releases. All right, let's talk about Mia Sosa. Mia Sosa is a romance author that I found this year and absolutely loved. I think technically I had read a short story from her in 2021, but I actually did not put the two together until I went on to Goodreads and realized that they were the same author. So I'm counting it this year because it is an author that definitely went on my radar this year. I read The Wedding Crasher, obviously made one of my best books of the year. Loved it. Will be reading The Worst Best Man. I've heard mixed reviews about that one. So we'll see. It's more of an enemies to lovers, which isn't necessarily my favorite trope, but I still think I'm going to love it. But she has some indie romance series that I'm very interested in. One of them is The Suits Undone, which is a workplace romance. At least I can gather that by the titles, such as Unbuttoning the CEO, One Night with the CEO, and Getting Dirty with the CEO. Which, sounds great. And then also, I think, more of a small town romance series as well. All ones that I will want to pick up. Not necessarily all of them this year, but they all sound very interesting. Grady Hendrix is an author that everyone talks about on BookTube. like, he's a very popular author, and I don't know why I hadn't read anything from him prior to that, but Horror Store was the first book that I read, and now I want to read everything from him. Obviously, his new release is coming out this month, How to Sell a Haunted House, so that's one that I'll definitely be picking up. I know the Late Night Crew is going to be reading that for their unofficial book club book thing. But the Final Girl support group has gotten a lot of praise. My best friend's exorcism sounds so good because it kind of has some like Stranger Things vibes, some like very 80s feel. And so I'm really excited about that one. It's not necessarily a backlist that I want to dive 100% into because I have heard some mixed things about some of his work, but he's definitely an author on my radar. And after absolutely loving Horror Store, I do want to read more from him. Next up is Olivia Atwater. I read Half a Soul in 2022, right at the very end of it, and I definitely want to continue on with that series, but actually some of the books that are not in that series are the ones that are more interesting to me. Obviously, Small Miracles is going to be the Not Your Mom's Boozy Book Club pick for this month. It's a Spiffbo finalist, so that's obviously a book that I'm very interested in. I'm very excited about this one. When I did my predictions, this was like the #1 prediction. So I'm very, very hyped for this one. However, there is a start of a series. It just says #0 and #1 right now, and I don't know how long these books have been in existence, but it's an indie book written by her and her husband that is like steampunk pirates, and I am very interested in this. It's Echoes of the Imperium is the first one. It's Tales of the Iron Rose is the series, and it's a fallen empire, a goblin airship captain, one big blasphemous problem. The ragtag crew of the Iron Rose once survived the fall of the empire, but none of them are interested in revisiting the experience. As the dregs of the Imperium rise against to claw at their heels, Will and his crew must face the literal ghost of their past, or else history may well repeat itself. And immediately want to read. I need to see if this is on like Kindle Unlimited or something. Upon a further research, that book does not exist. Like, it's nowhere. I went onto his website and the prequel is there. So I downloaded it because it's free if you sign up for his newsletter. And like, his Twitter is active and he's talking about the series, so I wonder if it's just not, there's just not a release date for it yet. Regardless, I would like this book, please. It sounds amazing, but I went ahead and picked up the prequel. We'll see how it is. Okay, well, that was a little bit of a delay. Sorry. All right, the last one I want to talk about is Alexandra Bellafiore. This is another romance author that I found in 2022, which kind of surprises me because, honestly, it's been on my radar. She's been on my radar for so long, but I just finally read a book from her this year. That was Written in the Stars, which is the first of a trilogy. So I will be continuing this trilogy. There's Hang the Moon and Count Your Lucky Stars, which is obviously the second and third book in this like Seattle contemporary romance series. And I really, really loved the first one that I read this summer. It almost made my best, like onto my best books of the year. It was very close. But I know that the third book in the series has pan representation, which I'm very excited about. I talked about this a little bit on a live show on some reading sprints, but I haven't really talked about it in a video. But I'm going to be doing a series probably like about once a month where I binge read a whole series because I really want to get back into doing that. I'm really good at starting series and then not finishing them. So I want to try to just binge a whole series or like finish whatever's left of a series. So this is going to be one that I'm hoping will come out on Valentine's Day because I feel like that'll be just adorable, right? She also has a book coming out in April called The Fiancé Farce, which this cover looks stunning. This is so beautiful. If anyone from Avon is watching this video, please, 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 I'm begging you, send me an arc of this book. I'm dying for it. Other than that, it looks like she's written a couple of short stories, but doesn't really have an extensive backlist. So another one of those authors that I will just be very much looking forward to new releases and putting her on anticipated releases lists. All right, so those were a few authors that I found in 2022 that I'm excited about, that I want to read more from. I did create an entire author spreadsheet, so like all of their their works, essentially like a master spreadsheet where I will be able to see like what from an author's backlist I still need to read. It's all in one place. It's beautiful. Very happy with how this turned out. This is one of the spreadsheets that I added to my reading tracker spreadsheet. I'm using Allie from the Hardback Hoarders spreadsheet. If you're interested in a video where I go through my spreadsheet and what I'm doing for everything, let me know. It's kind of a mashup of a lot of different spreadsheets though. Like I'm using some things that I created myself. I'm using some things from Cassidy's spreadsheet. I'm using some things from Allie's spreadsheet. It's a whole big thing. But if you're interested in a video like that, I don't know how interesting they would be, but maybe you guys are, you know, spreadsheet nerds like I am. I don't know. But if you want to, let me know down in the comments. But that's all I have for you today. Let me know an author that you have found this year that you want to read their backlist, or you're going to be very excited about any anticipated releases down in the comments below. And if you're not feeling chatty, let's do a sunshine emoji because it's cold and just very wintry here and I need some sunshine. That is all I have for you today. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.